We are in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, doing a really cool story about a man and a woman who moved here from Minnesota. And they started a very lucrative business making Jollyrancher candies. Dorothy and Bill Harmson moved from Minnesota to Colorado in 1942. Bill, a pilot for Continental Airlines, but he wanted his own business. They bought the old Johnson farm, right here, where these townhomes now stand. We're 6 miles east of Golden, and Dorothy began her fruit and flower business. Gladiolas, phonies, raspberries, strawberries, setting up a woodworking shop in their barn, making doll beds and cocktail trays. Soon, to try their hand at ice cream. They chose Rancher as a Western theme and Jolly to be friendly. After the first summer, they ran into a many number of problems. Rainy weather, equipment malfunctions. In order to get through the winter, they added bulk and box chocolates from a small candy firm of Denver. This proved to be prosperous for them, and they opened more stores in Wyoming and Nebraska, the original Golden store being sold in 1951. They supplied chocolate to their franchises. The candy sales soon exceeded their supply. Many requests came in for their 5-cent fire sticks, hot cinnamon taffy stick, the recipe developed in Golden. The demand so numerous, they soon realized a new opportunity. So right here stood this old farm, and they began to make candy and chocolates out of this old barn. It first started out with little candies and just a few sales, but it exceeded. So they pulled the old horse stalls out of the barn and they hired a candy maker, changing the name to Sugar Bar Ranch, and their motto, Jollyrancher, is the only candy guaranteed to be positively superior to any other you have ever eaten. Years passed, and the Jollyrancher plant went through numerous remodels and expansions. In 1966, merging with Beatrice Foods Company of Chicago, operating with 2 shifts and 250 employees. Production, 125,000 pounds of candy per day. Leaf Brands purchased Beatrice Foods in 1983, then purchased by the Hershey Company in 1997, whereas the Wheat Ridge production plant closed in 2002 to be turned into condos, which stand here now. I do remember driving by here often and seeing that big, I remember it being everything black and white. It was long, and it was cool, and it smelled like candy every time you passed it. And you could go take tours of it, which was really cool. I remember taking a tour, I think for school, if I remember right. Beautiful view of the mountains. I thought this to be a very cool story. Many of these stories are to never give up, to keep following your dreams, never take no for an answer. I mean, they turned their horse barn into a huge candy plant. I mean, how cool is that? And of course, instead of an old cool farm, we have to make room for people to live. Kind of tall, hipster townhomes. All right, we're gonna go to our next location. I wonder if anyone here knows where they're living now. They're living on history of candy. Jollyrancher candy. Let's take a drive to the unique and historical town of Golden. Headed west. Let's go. GCB. Chocolate has her little costume on. Good girl. The Astor House opened in 1867 and stayed in continuous operation as a boarding house until the late 1960s. It offered rooms and hot meals to lawmakers, laborers, miners, students, and families, some of whom stayed for weeks or even months. Over the years, the Astor House claimed several firsts in Golden. Longtime owner Ida Goetz installed the first bathtub in town, a novelty that brought in many people willing to pay 25 cents to take a hot bath. One Goldenite observed that Ida made more money off the bathtub than from the rest of the hotel. An outpouring of community support saved this building from demolition in the early 1970s and renewed an interest in Golden's local history. Today, the Astor House Museum tells stories from its colorful past. Just down the street to the left, you'll find the 12th Street Historic District, where some of the city's best preserved historic homes are located. This area was commonly called the Legislative Walk, since many of the residents were prominent in state and local businesses, politics, and education. And that's where we came from. And they're doing some renovations on the house. Cool. Here is Adolf Coors, which we will do a story all about him.
History matters here.
The arch was dedicated March 24th, 1949 at a cost of $7,500, erected by Golden businessman Lou Holland, operating his Holland House and now Table Mountain Inn.
Timber got a touch to that.
If they get the ball wide and the ball in the attacking half, you're going to see
This is the old Capitol.
And this is
1864, 1122 Washington Avenue, second floor of Loveland's Mercantile, 1866. December 9th, 1867, Colorado legislator met in the Loveland building, where a heated debate began as to where the Capitol should be. A vote was taken and Denver was selected by one vote.
She's a German Shepherd boxer. She only came in from Mars. Very sweet. She's very big. Auntie some kids. Huh? It's a good girl.
This building was built in 1906. Adolf Coors was brewing his beer in Golden, but he opened up a saloon right here. The top floor was apartments, the bottom floor was a saloon to sell his beer. Yeah, there's a Coors sign up there. In 1873, Francis E. Everett was a banker, mercantile, investment, mining pioneer, and he had a bank here. People mourned his untimely death where he took his life, but then it was found out that he defrauded many people. The top floor has remained since the 1800s. The arched windows, the cornice trim dates all the way back to 1873. So this is the Opera House. Adolf Coors was floor manager. And then of course below, as of now, the tavern. They had restaurants, tavern, saloon, and they did burlesque here. The ornate, old-fashioned windows and trim is dated back to the 1873. Here's the Foss Drug Company, placed during its golden anniversary, 1913 and 1963. Store elevation 5683 feet above sea level. Foss Drugstore. 1913 by Henry and Dorothy Foss, Drug and Sundry Store. Held state's first liquor license, obtained before Prohibition. Could issue a liquor prescription with soda fountain and restaurant, closed in 2007. Here's the Table Mountain Inn. Lou Holland operating his Holland House. Now the Table Mountain Inn.
Yeah. Pretty much. So we go down here to the right.
Lou Holland helped erect the arch.
I can live here.
Now we're coming down the other side of the street. I might have to come back for one of these. Happy wife, happy life. Eaker's Department Store, 1953 to 1985. In 1953, August Gaines Eaker transformed the plunge into the Eaker's Department Store, giving it a new mid-century modernist facade with plate glass windows on the street level and a set of ribbon windows on the second floor. Eaker's thrived for more than 50 years until the chain went out of business in 1985, leading to the closure of the Golden Store.
You're fine. Come on, Chaka. We have a final protection dog, Mom. Ow. Come on. Where's this one?
Hotel, 1918. Overland Hotel, 1859 to 1910. When it was built in 1859, the Overland was Golden's largest building. Originally had twin storefronts on the street level and a public hall on the second story. It is on the second level of the Overland where Colorado's territorial legislature met in 1865. Many of Colorado's earliest laws were voted on in this room. Generals Ulysses Grant, William Tecumseh, Sherman, and Philip Sheridan stayed at the Overland Hotel around the time of the Civil War. So this is where they held. And decided if Golden would be the capital or Denver. Here's Colorado School of Music, which is also a Denver, which is also a landmark. Second oldest newspaper began here on November 24th, 1866. General George West, a Civil War veteran and one of the founders of Golden and the Colorado School of Mines, started the paper. Constructed in 1870, it is one of the oldest commercial structures in Golden. The newspaper occupied the second floor, while the first floor was used by Dr. James Kelly. This structure housed the paper for nearly 100 years. Originally, the building was brick with a corbelled brick cornice, under which was painted the occupant's name, the transcript. Very cool. This is where the newspaper is. And now the Colorado School of Music.
I know you're almost done. I know. Relax.
She's fine. So right here is where Jollyrancher opened up their first candy store. Right here in Golden. Right here is where Dorothy and Bill Harmsen opened up their first Jollyrancher candy store. 1949. All right, we're going to continue on in this historic town, Golden, Colorado. I've always wanted to come here and take the tour. Here we go. There's a story right here. Vanover hanging. Young towner Edgar Vanover, known as an ill-tempered drunk, had a tantrum one day and began shooting up the place. Lawlessness reigned at the time, and a mob of angry townspeople decided to hang him at nearby southeast corner of Ford Street and Clear Creek.
Sit. Stay.
Horace Greeley was trying to cross the river on a mule. The famed author and publisher of the New York Tribune, who once said, "Go west, young man, and grow up with the country," was visiting Golden. The creek was more of a torrent, and Greeley had to be pulled out by a sturdy miner with a boat hook. Both mule and Greeley escaped, half drowned, but alive. Guess where we're going? Bob's Burgers.
Come on.
There's the Coors plant. We're waiting on our Bob's Burger.
Push me like it.
What do you rate it? 1 to 10.
Get a 7.5, 8. Let me go fill up my drink water. Wait.
So we give Bob's Burgers an 8. About a $10 burger plus drinks and fries. Taking the fries home. You're able to have plenty of condiments, lots of ketchup. The place has been here for 10 years. Everyone loved Shocky and her little Santa Claus costume. She was a good girl. And we're gonna go get out of the shade. It is cold. Thank you for watching. On to the next story.
It's cute! I like it a lot!
And here we have come to Mr. and Mrs. Harmson, William D. June 24th, 1912 to April 10th, 2002, and Dorothy B. September 3rd, 1914 to August 29th, 2006. I was very happy to tell their story and bring them a few little flowers, and it's really cool that they're right next to this beautiful pine tree. So I think I'll bring them a wind chime right out here in Mount Olivet Cemetery. It's very breezy today. Right next to this beautiful statue. I believe that this is possibly St. Michael slaying the dragon. Some flowers. St. Michael, the great prince, guardian of the people. And that he is. Warrior angel. Call on Michael to watch over us. Keep us safe. Well, the sun is going down. I was very happy to do the Harmson Jollyrancher story. I remember driving by Jollyrancher plant. I remember being a big, black, long, strange looking building. It was pretty cool. And it smelled really good, whatever was coming out of there. You could go in and do tours. Lovely spot. Okay, the wind is blowing things around. Final frontier.
Mom, don't. Mom, slow down, please. God, no. Ow.